Okay, so by recording this video, I'm trying to explain or to show you some of my frustrations in trying to set up a BIM server to be working on my computer. So what you see on the screen at the moment are a couple of WAR files. As you can see, BIM server, different versions of it: 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. The main challenge is not with your understanding of how WAR files work, but it's with the version, because the version of the WAR file um, really works with certain environments, certain Java versions. So basically, after a long while, after several times of trial, multiple times trying, I realized that a version 4, Bimserver version 1.4.0 works very well with Java 8 and Tomcat 8, and we know that Tomcat is really the server. So when we come to this directory, this um, folder, you find out that at the root drive C, I have three different versions of Tomcat. I have version 6, 7, and 8. And these versions really work with different versions of Bimserver. So that's our version 8. When you double click that, you see that it's got a normal file structure required for Tomcat, as everyone knows. So basically, the web apps folder contains your extracted WAR file. So the Bimserver WAR file over here, this is my 1.4.0 WAR file extracted. So obviously, when you go in there, you find that we have so many files that are related to the application, the web application. So obviously, you can also see the IFC files, that are very much related to the BIM, or the building information model, which is what this application is about specifically. So the objective of this video, this short video, is to just demonstrate how you could start your server from this one desktop and then remotely access it. So simulating what happens on the internet. For example, if you had a BIM server running on a remote server, how could you access it from a remote client? So I'm just trying to share my success stories. It gets quite frustrating, so it's such a joy to show you how this works. All right, so let's look at how basically start your Tomcat server. If you're really used to it, then basically I'm stopping the running process at the moment. As you can see, you through your command line prompt, you actually navigate and change directory to the Tomcat folder that I just showed you, and you go into the bin folder over here, as you can see. So C // Apache Tomcat 8 /bin, and then basically what you do is that you type the command Catalina run. So the command is to start. This command really starts Tomcat server. So we're starting Tomcat 8. So let's start by entering and initiates a process which really runs the whole application for us. So as we wait, you can see so many information scrolling up, telling us how the whole installation and the running of the application is going. It's really an installation process, isn't it? So up here you can see the Tomcat, the Java version that we are using is 1.8 JRE 1.8 and other dependencies and applications that work with it. If there are any errors, we can't proceed from there. We will have to find out what the error is, and then we can't just move on. So we wait a few seconds, and the whole application will just finish, and then we'll be ready to go. It takes a while, but with patience, you eventually see your page, your web page, the default Tomcat page, and that's going to be available at localhost. But then if you have your domain name, or you have an IP address that you have set, then you could also use that. So once you have in mind you want to access this page from a remote client, then it's very important that you set your IP address or your domain name, which will point to your IP address eventually. So instead of using localhost, what you really want to do is to put in your IP address, which in this case has been set to 192.168.0.2, and you press enter. And if the server started, then we should see the default Tomcat pages, which is set from the configuration Tomcat. So come back to Apache Tomcat 8, and we go to the configuration folder. You will find server.xml, which you can edit with any text editor, in this case Notepad+. So over here you can see that our IP address has been set to 192.168.0.2, and repeated down here, and in the host tag, where we get to also need, it's like our host, the IP addresses for the host is 192.168.0.2. okay, so go back to our URL that we put in here containing our IP address, and we see that it's still not done yet, and then we could go back to our command line also and check. You'll see this if you look down here, and that indicates that the server is up and running, started up, and it took 195,000 milliseconds. That's like saying it took a couple of seconds, not 195 seconds. That doesn't matter, we can look at that. Alright, so going back to our pages, we see the congratulations message. You should be happy seeing this. Apache Tomcat 8.0. okay, so to access the applications within the server, then we click on manager app, okay, which is the link to access all the applications that we've loaded in the web apps folder. Hopefully these are all like originally WAR files. So going back to this page, we now click on manager app. Okay, this is not the fancy type of page, not very graphic like all the graphics, but we could always get a better view on this. Okay, so clicking on manager app, we should find Bimserver in there, because the WAR file has been loaded. So just a few seconds, and then you should see all the applications running on it. So a few things to note that you need to make sure that your Java environment has been set, Java home and those things. So it's assumed that we know this already. It's taking a few seconds, but all things being equal, we should get it showing us all the applications that are running. Okay, so if you go back to this page, not much to show that there's something going on the page, but obviously once we click on an application, we should see corresponding messages on the command line. So let's give ourselves, okay, so resuming from where we left off, let's look at manager app, clicking that. So we come to this page where we see Bimserver already running, so we only have the stop button active. The start button is not active because we stopped. We can only stop when we started, and we can only start when we stopped. Okay, so basically this app, web app, is running. The Bimserver is running on Tomcat. Okay, so let's click on Bimserver, and it should bring us to a page where we get to access our pages. I've already logged into the web server, so with logged into Bimserver, so already you can see a project that we've loaded. So basically clicking on the project, and in the 3D view we can actually see the model, beautiful model loaded. Okay, so if you could just do this on one computer, then you could go into another one and then virtually set it up, set an IP address by going to network. So we open network sharing center, look for change adapter settings, and then your Ethernet. Right click in your Ethernet, you can just go for properties. We're going for IP version 4 and IP version 4 and properties, and then you can see that over here we can really, if you understand the concept of IP address, you can just set it on the remote computer. You could put one here so that you could have the two computers on the same subnet, and so these numbers, the subnet mask, so this is what defines whether two or more computers are on the same server. So on a remote computer, these things are very important, and the key to being able to access the page remotely is to make sure that in your server, the XML file, you have actually set this to the default host in the engine tag and the host tag to 192.168.0.2, and also the default page for the Bimserver should allow you to really put in a site address, which are not available at the moment. It's only when you do it for the first time. I'm doing this for the second time, so no wonder we don't see that page. But then you could actually define what we call that site address, which looks something like what I'm going to show you over here. Looks like this page over here. Where did it go? Something like this. So site address. So you put in http:// localhost. So if you put in localhost, you could actually put in, ignore this one here, you could actually put in 192.168.0.2 and then your : and then the port number, which is very important. That is also set in your web apps folder. If you go in there, you realize that Tomcat 8 is always going to be running on port number 8020 because that has been set actually in there. You go down and in the server.xml and see that 8020 was set in the connector tag, which allows us to define how the connection should be done, and that takes us to a different level altogether. So basically this is my short-term tutorial for us to see how we actually visualize this from one computer and from the another computer. Because of technical limitations, I can't show you exactly how the cables have been connected on my laptop right now, but it is working and it's beautiful. Thank you very much, and watch out for my next video on setting up Bimserver. Thank you and goodbye.